What's up, guys? My name is Narschool, and today I am going to have a pre-recorded episode of Animating for you guys. So what I am going to do today, just so you know, this is very pre-recorded. It is Sunday the 21st of December, the 21st. I'm recording my desktop using a program called ScreenFlow, so I can check how much time I have. I'm going to be aiming this right around 20 minutes, just so you know. But I am going to launch Motion, which is a Apple program I use to animate all of my things. I'm going to be walking you through the basics. I mean, the first things I learned, and I still have a lot to learn in Motion. What is my setup? I have my Cyborg Rat9 mouse connected to my MacBook Pro. I have my Ideas on Merc Stealth keyboard, which I absolutely adore. And then I have my Blue Yeti Snowball microphone connected to my USB hub in my keyboard that is then connected to my MacBook Pro. So we're going to be launching this. We're just going to go ahead and take let's go with 30 seconds because that is a hell of a lot of time. So this window will be opening right now. Can I actually? Yes, I can go full screen. Let's go full screen. Let me put the brightness up just a little bit so I can see my screen. So this is the Motion window. As you can see up here, it should do things. Alright guys, we're back. Let me just check the time. Okay, as you can see up here, we have 34% of memory left, and we've recorded in 4 minutes, so 24 minutes, that should be fine. Okay, I had to take Motion out of full screen mode because it didn't play nice. So up here you have your Motion, different things, your mark, your objects, different things that you can use to do stuff with. This window right here is your window of motion effects. This is actually where you're going to be drawing your motions. This window here is your groups. You can unselect groups, you can rearrange the groups on how you want. This is your inspector window. Here you have in the file browser, you have a lot of different like where you can find different items you can import. In the library you will be able to find a lot of pre-made motions and filters. And in the inspector, okay, come on, don't go dead now. There we go. And in the inspector you'll be able to inspect your different properties. This right here is your adjusting tab, where you can have your mouse, anchor point, different things. This is going to be used in 3D, which I'm not going to be tackling now because I can't wrap my head around 3D right now. I'm still learning, as I said. This one is used to either zoom or pan things, basically just to move things around. This is your shapes tab. Rectangles, circles, and lines is basically what you can do, but triangles is also a thing I recently learned. You have your Bezier tool, as well as your B-spline. Your Bezier tool can be used to draw triangles and shapes. You have your brush tool, which can be used to draw things. You have your typing tools. As you can see, it saved my favorite font right now, which is Prototype. So you can type different things. Hi, heart, for example, and you can then animate that. Then the next thing you have is you have your frame selection. Here you can type different frames. You can set this to seconds if you want to. I like to keep it at frames because I know that 30 frames is a second. Then you have turn it into 3D. Put a light level on it so you can move your light things around and stuff. This is basically generators, which will help you to move text around if you don't want to animate it yourself. It's basically presets of animations. Here is things I don't really know about yet. This is how the lines are going to react to each other. This one is going to bring your timeline back to the start. This is going to play it in parentheses, and this is going to play it, or you can just press the space. This button is going to allow you to animate keyframes. This one jumps individual frames, and that is basically the introduction to motion. So let's animate a square, shall we? Hold the command key down to get the aspect ratio. Hold the shift key down, sorry, to maintain an aspect ratio. So let's make a square. This one is white or white. Let's pick the move around tool. You can move the anchor point around. You can also select the rectangle. This one. Choose that one, and you should be able to move the whole thing around. Here in this tab, in the expector, you have a couple extra tabs: behaviors, filters, and shapes. Right now I'm going to tackle the shape. You have different colors or gradients. If you want a gradient, you can have that, and you can tell it where you want the gradients to be. Let's say this thing, and it should probably update. I don't know why it is not, probably because this one is in the way. I'm not sure why it's not showing the gradient. Probably because I've not messed with the gradient yet. So let's not mess with that. Actually, let's draw a new thing. Probably because the light is going in and fucking up stuff for us. Square, shape, gradient. Why are you not gradient? Okay, I don't know about that. Cancel. But color, you can change the color of the shape to whatever color you want. I'm not sure why it does not show the color. But trust me, in the final render, I've encountered this thing a couple times. It is just because the RAM, as you can see up here, we're at 1% already, does not fully comply with what we want it to be. But in the end product, it will be green, as you can see up here in the group measure thing. But you can change the color, you can change the opacity. That slider works. As you can see, you can opacity, you can feather the edges if that is what you want to do. You can fall off it. I'm not sure what that does, but apparently it kind of makes it outline thing, or makes it different. Outlines, you can airbrush image or brush color. You can change the outline, you can opacity that, and you can width that as well. You can make the joints square and round if that is what you want to do. You also have a fall off point. If we uncheck this, as you can see, if I zoom it in here a little bit, excuse me, I have to use my trackpad for this. There we go. You can see that I can animate the starting point, as we can basically make it draw on, like so. We can also put this slider in the middle at 50%. Boom. And then we can put this one at 50%. Boom, and we can have it draw on simultaneously. Right? Now let's make it draw on. So what you want to do is you have your square here. You want to select it, press this one, and you can see these numbers down here turn red. Red. That means they are ready to be animated. So let us move the cursor a couple frames. That's about a second. And let's move this to 0. And let's move this to 100. So that now means that this should be animated on. As you can see, it draws on perfectly as we want it to do. If that is the effect we wanted. It does not show the things yet, but here, if you click on this tab, you can actually see the actual animations. And you can move, if you want it to go faster, if I just zoom a little bit in here, you can actually move this point around so it would draw on faster or slower if that is what you want, by moving this keyframe slider. But right around there seems fast enough. Just about half a second or so to draw on. Now after this, we can say that we want the outline to, or the fill to come in. So we would uncheck this because we don't want to change anything right now or keyframe anything right now. So we press the fill and push the opacity back. Now we're ready to animate. So we will have a starting point, let's say around here. We will space it out with the space key to move the frames, and we will fill it in. So as you can see, it would draw on. Now this is problematic because it would do both things at the same time, and that's not what we want. So we will Command C that, move it, and then press the absolute keyframe, or the stop keyframe. This will mean that this action will take place from here on out. So let's move the slider around here, press this button, and move it to 100. So as you can see, it will draw on and then fade in. The next thing that we want to do maybe is we want to draw a black circle in the middle of this. So we would make a new group and call this group circle, like so. Then we will select the group. You can select different groups here. This one could be renamed to square, like so. I'm not even sure that's spelled right, but that doesn't matter for this demonstration or this tutorial. We would take the circle button, highlighted with this group here. We'll take the circle button, select it by holding it down with your mouse and then dragging. Circle, hold shift to maintain aspect ratio. That should be fine. Change that to black. We should be able to see that. We actually can't for some reason. And I am keyframing this already, which is non-existent or not fun. Why is this square not things? Okay, I'm not sure why. Okay, change it to black if that is what we want it. Move it around. We can then uncheck this because we don't need to see this right now. Uncheck it down here or up here, which will make it disappear, but it's not disappear. It's still there, but it is just not viewable. And if you can hear the fan in the background, my MacBook is getting hot because of this work, so please bear that in mind. We can have, in the circle selection, we can have it filter in, but that's definitely not what we want. We want the outline to draw in, just as we did before. So, as we did before, we will find the start, highlight it, find a point, and then we will start it out by putting a keyframe there, putting that one there, and then sliding this up. You can also do that instead of pressing this button right here if that is what you wanted to do. So we would have the draw in, then we would have the fade in of the triangle or the square, and then we would have the draw on of the circle. Now you can also width this out if that is what you wanted. Let's just see how this looks. That doesn't look bad, but we wanted the starting cap to be square because that looks snazzy. Let's see how that looks. That looks good. I want it to be a little slower, like so. And then in the middle, let's say we want a yellow tint. So the thing is now yellow. As you can see here, it looks like an egg, so let's not do that. Let's have it be red or orangey. So then what we would have is we would have the fill opacity be right 0. When this stops, we want the keyframe to go, and we want the thing to fade in. Boom. As you can see, when the thing stops, it fades in like so. This is the animation done, so let us export it. You do that by pressing Command E for export. The tab will come up. We can select the different qualities we want, but just for this demonstration, I'm just going to take the H216 compressed, which will make the quality suck, but just for demonstration purpose, it will render faster. So let's press next and give this a test. And I will save this to my desktop instead of I actually have a dedicated folder for all my motion stuff called Motion 5 right here. But let's save this to the desktop and let's go ahead and call this Motion. What should we call it? Motion YouTube How to Helps. Just funsies. Let's call it that. So we'll export it. It's gonna take around a little bit of time. When it's higher quality, it's gonna take right about 9 to 10 minutes to render for a 10-second video, but you're just gonna let it sit there and do its things. So as far as we know, we might not have seen the different things already, like the different motion stuff, but it should draw on perfectly here. As you can see, this thing works, but we forgot to uncheck the square. So we will do that again. That's why it is important to go ahead and try and make sure that things are the way we want it before we deliver it to a customer or a friend or whoever we want to try this. So let's see. Square draws in, thing draws on, and that's it. That's the animation done. Of course, you can do more snazzy work that, as you have seen me before. I'm not going to save this. Don't save, because I'm going to ponder up some more stuff for this series as we go along. But let's go into my folder and see what I have done before. Motion. I have made this thing right here, intro. This is for one of my friends called the Pro Monsters. We can see this go. That was that. As you can hear, the sound wasn't too good because it was coming out of my speakers, and I don't have my headphones on right now. The intro 0.6 is then just this. It's the same, but different. And then the V1 is the final render. As you can see, it was the same. Strictly Shisha.movie is the one I did for Zach over at Strictly Shisha. As you can see, I've gotten a lot better with doing this. So that is the one I did for Strictly Shisha. I have my own outro here, as you've seen a couple of times. This is not... I actually did this with an alpha channel background. So you won't see things as you would before. The black background is actually just Final Cut Pro blackness. And then I put in the things and the stuff. My start intro. Narschool pop up the setup. As you can see here, I did this before. It was a thing I did. The pop up for the price. I did a lot of these basically for reviews, which I never really used, but I did them, and basically I do this to learn the program. Clouds as well as one of the things, and then I have Narschool 2.2 fail. Let's just open that because that is funny. I really raged about this. I think I used right around a week in real time. Vanadine, I need to. And apparently I just stopped the video because I pressed wrong button. So that's what you get for pressing wrong button. Episode 1, motion. Let us export that right as we speak. So let's Command Q. Oh, I can't do that because that will stop things. So I need to remember to relaunch this, but this is going to pop up in the video as well. So as you can see here, I have a lot of motion-y stuff. And this is basically what you see on my intro screen. I wanted to make it fade out, and then, you know, it was basically just a fail. A big old fail. Then we have the final render of the 22nd star, which I cut right around 7 seconds. It's actually going further than that. It comes back, draws on a square, draws on a circle, and then goes back, and then that fades. But I don't use that. It actually turns into my logo. I actually made my logo in motion and then transferred it over into GIMP. I then have another one. As you can see, that's one of my other gameplay I have. Because I wanted to do some gameplay intro for Vlogities. It's basically the same animation, just functioning over and over again with different ending tabs. I have the End Slate version 2 as well, which I am working on right about now, so I'm not going to show you that because I don't have a full render. The Hookah and Beyond intro is here. I did that about a month ago. For Adam Rice over at Hookah Beyond. I actually got contracted to do this. I have the Flippo Brass. Why is this in here? That should not be in here. I need to fix my folders. I have one I did for DTS Hookah. For Kevin Cho over at DTS Hookah. I did give it to him, but as far as I know, he hasn't used it yet. Then I have a bunch of pictures here which I just need to get about. But that is going to conclude this episode of motion with Narschool, or whatever I'm going to call it. So if you enjoyed the video, you can click the like button below. My name is Narschool. Thanks so much for watching, but please, this is not goodbye. It's